on a show you really didn't get into specifics, then all of us are EE students, so feel free to just like tell all the technical details about your research.
Definitely. So in my project, I made hydrogenated titanium dioxide polyaniline core shell nanorods for a flexible high-performance supercapacitor. So that's the title, but let me break it down for you. So my project involves supercapacitors, which are energy storage devices. And as you heard in the video, one day I woke up, and actually many days, my cell phone battery died and I was very frustrated. And I wanted to figure out a way to improve energy storage for just everything around us. We see so many applications with like our laptops, like electric cars, and these all have batteries and similar energy storage devices. And I really wanted to work on that problem just because it was so relevant to me. So in my project, I made a new nanomaterial structure that allows for flexible supercapacitors. And so there's a lot of different types of energy storage devices. There are batteries, which I'm sure many of us have heard of, and batteries can store a lot of energy. And then there's capacitors, which can charge very quickly and discharge very quickly, as we've learned in our electrical engineering classes. So supercapacitors are kind of in the middle. They offer more energy density than capacitors, so they can store a little bit more energy than typical fast charging devices, but they can also charge faster than typical batteries. So they're trying to resolve this fundamental conflict between quick charge and holding a lot of energy. And so this whole project, and actually this whole entire field, is focusing on how can we get the fastest possible charging while still holding a lot of energy. And so that's what my project fundamentally aims to tackle. And so what I did in my own project was develop this first new combination of materials based on things that can be manufactured easily, things that have good properties in terms of capacitance, in terms of conductivity, in terms of stability. And then I also designed a new structure where I could really maximize the use of surface area. So I brought my project into the nanoscale. So nanoscale is about 10 to the negative 9 meters, which is thinner than a strand of hair, so very, very thin. But that really allows us to use surface area really well. And the whole idea behind charge transfer is how much you can use surface area. So that was one big improvement, and one way you definitely see this field heading in terms of nanoscale. And the third thing I did was really see how I can combine different materials in the space, materials that haven't been combined before, to yield the best properties I wanted for my new supercapacitor. And again, I was looking for something that could charge quickly, something that could hold a lot of energy, and something that was stable over the long term. So if we can charge and discharge it very often, it would be able to last for a very long time. So ultimately, my project did just that. I designed a set of materials, I optimized the synthesis, I actually made it, and then I tested its electrochemical properties. And that's what this entire project basically was.
That's so cool. And you did it in what lab? In which lab did you do it?
Yeah, so I worked at a local university near my home. It's called University of California, Santa Cruz. And my journey to get to that university was actually a little bit tough. When I was a junior in high school, I really wanted to do a science project, and I really wanted to work on nanochemistry and energy storage. So I began to look for many labs in my area, from local universities to local colleges, and I emailed so many professors, maybe close to like 40 professors.
Wow.
And guess how many replies I heard? Oh, you're so close. I heard back from one professor, and he was like, I may not be here over the summer. I'm a little bit busy. I don't know if I can take you. And so I actually drove down to the university, and I went and I met the professor in person, and I convinced him to take me on as a student. I said, I have this background. I'm really interested. I just really want to learn and really want to work in your lab. And he accepted me, and ultimately over the summer I worked with some of his students, and I worked in the lab, and it was a hard journey to get there. It took a lot of emailing, a lot of persuasion, but I really wanted it, so I went for it and I got it. So the journey was hard, but I think ultimately it turned out to be really rewarding.
That's so cool, because I'm really glad that we're having this talk because all of us are EC students and we're struggling with our work, with our study, with our everything, the university, and then your story is like a fairy tale, like a cliche. I've made my dream come true, just doing what I want. I'm a Harvard student, but eventually, it's really realistic. You worked really hard for it, so
Yeah,
I think it's a
definitely.
good message for us, right?
Yeah, you always look at these people and it seems like, wow, that just worked out. But I think really there was a lot of failures behind this, and a lot of, even within lab, just troubleshooting again and again, not sure my idea would work. And I think this constant persistence at the issue, the idea first that I really wanted to work in a lab, and second that I really wanted my project to work out, that made me just keep trying so many different things in my project.
Wow. Did you know you want to be a scientist when you grew up?
So I think I think it's a tough question because I still am interested in so many different things. I've always been very interested in science. I grew up in the Silicon Valley in California, and there's so many cool tech startups and companies like Intel, like Cisco, like IBM. All of them are located in the Silicon Valley, and I always grew up seeing like all these companies coming up and like some succeeding, some failing, and like just watching that grow around me. And also when I was younger, we used to have science birthday parties, my sister and I, where we would launch little film canisters and put Alka-Seltzer and have it like shoot up in the air, or we'd do something with invisible ink and have each other read with lemon juice. And so like always when I was growing up, we had these fun activities, and I think that was really what got me to continue doing something in science, continuing to explore my inner curiosity.
So cool. So you also plan to have a social life, right?
Yes, I have. I have a social life.
Really? Please tell us, how can you have such a big and fulfilling social life when you're a Harvard student?
Yeah, I think the most important thing to me is balance, and it's really hard to do, as you definitely know, as we were talking about. It's very difficult, but I think honestly, like I wouldn't be the person who I am if all I did was study all the time. I really cannot concentrate for that long, first of all, and second of all, I need to have fun in different ways. So I'll do things like I'll go and I'll watch plays that my friends perform in. I myself am a dancer. I love to dance. I cannot live without dancing. So every spring I do a choreography for one of our dance productions on campus, and just having these different things like art, like dance, like we had a football game, the Harvard-Yale football game last weekend, which was a very big rivalry. It's a rivalry for, I don't know how many years? Harvard University versus Yale University's football. Who won? Harvard. Harvard for maybe the eighth year in a row, I think. Something close to that. It was a close game, but like these are things that I love to do. And then I think like every time I do them, I come back and I'm even more focused on work. So it's like a good way to balance myself. It's hard, but like I cannot live without doing that.
I'm so glad to hear it, really. And we can like, if you were here on the podium standing talking, do you have a message you want to deliver for us? Any final words?
That's tough. I think just the fact that you all are here at the conference is one step in the right direction already. And you've already taken so much initiative to get here. And I think my main messages would be, first, the importance of an interdisciplinary perspective. As I mentioned, and as probably so many of you are, you're not just interested in science, you're not just interested in studying all the time. And I don't think, if it's for you, then that's great, but if you're someone like me, It's something that I can't do. And so even here at school, I study engineering. I'm in mostly science and engineering classes, but outside of school, I'm involved in the Institute of Politics at the Kennedy School of Government. And I'm really interested in policy and how we can use science to make a public impact in terms of how innovations can help in the public sector and how we can make society I have a really strong commitment to society, which is why I'm involved at the School of Government. So that's something, and I think having these different perspectives, whether it be through dance, through government, really helped me look at my science and engineering problem and think of how I can really implement it and get it to be from just an idea to a final product and something that can make a big difference. So one of my main messages is to definitely realize the importance of an interdisciplinary perspective and always know that whatever you're making, it has to be scalable. You have to be able to manufacture it. You want it to have that impact. And I think as long as you keep these different things in mind, you'll end up with a wonderful idea and wonderful innovation that can really help people. So that's definitely one of my messages. I think just another one is we're all so young. We're all so young, and that's wonderful, and that's why we can have so much fun. Although we can always keep having a lot of fun. But one thing is, I definitely know I was sometimes scared to bring up my idea in lab because I was the youngest member, or just like afraid to approach professors because they studied so much and they know so much about the field. And I think the biggest thing I've learned by going through this process is to not be afraid to tackle a problem or offer a solution, even though we are so young. And many times people will be like, oh, well, that won't work. But if you go ahead and show it and try it out and just show them, like, I think just trying good ideas is something definitely worth doing without being afraid. So 2 things, interdisciplinary perspective and don't be afraid.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I wish you were here. So
I know, I wish I was there too. I really want to be with all of you guys and see Israel and see all the amazing innovation happening.
should definitely come next year, don't worry.
Next year, definitely.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Eesha. So nice to have you here.
Thank you.
And thank
It's
you
so
for
nice.
your time. Enjoy
Thank
your
you.
weekend.
Thank you. Are we good?